This is episode 73 of the Thunder Underground podcast. My name is Trent. I'm joined by Jason.
Hello.
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 You got anything clever for 73? I didn't come up with it. Sorry.
I did,
slipped.
and then you just put me on the spot, so I lost it all. It has to be spontaneous.
Yeah.
You can't request it. It just has to come from, within.
Right.
So you fucked it all up already.
All right. So maybe 74 will have something
Yes.
clever.
Yeah.
Right.
Just don't push it, and we'll see.
Okay.
God.
Well, this episode 73 features Scott Baughn,
Yeah.
drummer extraordinaire from Deathgrip.
That's right.
Yes. And it also features Mike DePetrillo,
Yeah.
another master of the drums.
Yes. From Dryvr.
Yes. And we recorded this recently whenever Scott was up in Tulsa, right before him and Mike were headed to Summer NAMM.
Yeah, in Nashville.
Yeah, and Mike invited us over to the house, so Mike joined in on the conversation, which is really cool.
Oh, yeah.
We got a little bit of information about what's coming up with Dryvr as well, but the focus of this thing, of course, was Scott, so we get into his past and, of course, what's going on with him now with Deathgrip and everything else.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into that here in just a bit, but before we do, we would like to play a song from Deathgrip. This song's called Death Hammer. Check this out.
Down and pray.
Deathhammer from Deathgrip out of Dallas, Texas. Man, talk about groove metal.
Oh yeah, this is the epitome of groove metal.
Yeah, everything. I mean, this song, I know you've described things before as just being powerful. This is like, that's just the perfect word to describe this. Everything about it, the rhythm section, the guitar riffs, and the vocals, everything's just pure power.
Yeah.
From start to finish.
Yeah, and, knowing you and knowing me, obviously knowing what we like, I mean, this is the kind of stuff that's just right up our alley.
Yeah.
I mean, and I like, the pre-chorus has that kind of guitar line that's kind of maideny, priesty, merciful fate type kind of stuff. And then it just kind of goes into this, power groove thing, and it's just, I mean, you just hit repeat on this song totally.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a perfect combination of power metal, groove metal, classic metal.
Yeah.
Everything's represented here and all melded into one perfect song.
Yep. And it's got a pretty badass drummer.
Well, yeah. And that's a good point, being is that's what this whole episode's about.
There you go.
Yeah, and that's on their forthcoming album. He talks about that here in a bit, coming out sometime later this year. So be on the lookout for that. But for the time being, you can check that out. It's on YouTube. It's on Reverb Nation. Look them up on Facebook. It's easy to find. Deathhammer by Deathgrip.
Yeah, it's a killer song, as you just heard.
Yeah. Well, before we get into this, I wanted to mention a few days ago, another badass tour was announced.
Okay.
Megadeth.
That's right. Forgot about all this.
And they're bringing along Amon Amarth. And, of course, Metal. I almost said Metal Hammer because I was thinking Deathhammer.
That's
Metal
right.
Church.
Yep.
And then
Havoc. Which, yeah, I'm excited to see those guys.
Yeah, I mean, that's Havoc was on Megadeth's tour that they did to start the year. So it's kind of cool that Havoc keeps getting these tours like this. Hopefully it helps them get a little more known. If you're not familiar with them, they've got like 4 or 5 albums out now that are straight up old school thrash, but they're a new band and they're politically charged, great stuff.
Yeah, they're super badass. And fun fact, you know who their manager is, don't you?
I might have, but I can't think off the top of my head.
Justice Mustaine.
Oh, okay. Well, that's how they got on both these
Dave
tours.
Mustaine's kid. which is, I don't bring that up to discredit him. I think that's a great
cool,
fucking idea.
Yeah.
And you need to take that stuff wherever it comes,
Definitely.
And I bring that up because a lot of people talk, oh, well, that's how they fucking did it. Well, you're goddamn right. That's how we did it. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
You got whatever you can do to get in front of people, is what you need to do. And, hopefully this tour will come through Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Cause I'd love to see all those bands.
Yeah. Even if not, it's one worth traveling for, but
Yeah.
you hope if it's during the week, obviously we hope it's nearby.
Yeah.
But yeah, just speaking of getting on tours, it's cool to see Metal Church out and about on something big like this that's current,
Yeah. I mean, wasn't it like, after, they did Rocklahoma so long ago.
Yeah.
In like 2009, I think. And they were just going to kind of close up shop. I think there's something about, it seems like I heard something about that. I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I could be wrong, but they're still going and that's great.
Yeah. And Amon Amarth has this new album that there's already people saying it's the album of the year.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a great album. I'm not going to rank it above a couple albums I like, but I do think it's great.
Yeah.
And it will probably make my list at the end of the year.
And they've got a great following, so.
Yeah. So that's a cool, I don't know if that's a co-headline thing because they're pretty big now,
Yeah.
compared to what a lot of people might think. But I mean, I think they might be close to a level of they might draw as much as Megadeth would draw on their own. So it could be co-headline or it could be they're just support. I don't know, but regardless, it's badass.
Yeah, it's the bill stacked. It'll fill the halls right up.
Well, like we mentioned a little while ago, and like you could see right there on the title of this thing, Scott Baughn and Mike DePetrillo are with us this episode. And we get into all kinds of stuff, like I said, with Scott's past and with what he's got going on now.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we've got some stuff from Mike as well, who's always a fun guy to talk to and never a loss for words.
No, there's always something going on, always something to talk about. And, Scott had some great stories from the road. He's traveled everywhere. A lot of good drumming stories, for all you drummers out there. I mean, just a lot of knowledge going on. And, he talks about, having MS and how he's dealing with it, with his playing and everything. And, he's he's making his way, through this with flying colors, and it's just a pretty inspirational conversation. And like you said, Mike DePetrillo's in there talking about drums, talking about Dryvr. So this is just a great episode, and I hope everyone checks it out.
Yeah, I think anyone that digs just music in general would dig this. Well, obviously, if you're listening to this, you're not listening to this because you hate music. So here you go. This one's for you, right?
Exactly.
Oh, and Mike, after the fact, got a hold of me and told me to mention that his roommate was the one that was making the blender noises in the background. And that's John C. Bailey.
Gotcha.
Who's an actor. And he was in like the American West, that miniseries. He played General Custer.
Nice.
And he's been in several other things. Look him up on IMDb.
What's he doing in Oklahoma?
He's living with Mike DePetrillo. That's what we would all do.
Yeah.
If we had the chance.
Yeah, why not?
Right.
You'd get
shots of Jesse.
Yeah, shots of
every
Jesse.
day.
Yeah, and be around guitars and drums and all that kind of stuff.
Right. Well, the other thing is, I listened back to this, and there's something was going on. There's some interference, like electronic interference with the recording. I don't know where it came from or what, because it hasn't happened with this recorder before. So there's a few spots I'm going to work on. So you might either hear a buzzing while Scott's talking or we're talking, or you might hear the voice level kind of change because I had to, lower it and raise it back up, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
No need to get in all that. Just letting you know if it sounds weird here and there, that's why. So, but it's still worth listening to.
That's right. And, I know that no matter what you were up against, you worked your magic. And this is going to sound great.
Oh, well, I appreciate the confidence. Well, with all that being said, let's get into this episode right now with Scott Baughn and Mike DePetrillo.
Covered everything under the sun with the mic off. You have to watch me. I'll just start fucking talking.
Rock and roll.
I'm in the middle of writing a book about my career.
Yes.
So I have lots to talk about. So I'm trying to get it all in book form right now. So, but my biggest issue is I'm still living it, trying to catch up. Because my career's going this way and the book's like back here.
The struggle with not trying to let the woman come out, but I play drums. Scott Baughn.
Well, is it hard to recall stuff or like from
not right now?
Yeah.
But for the longest time, I carried a notepad in my pocket for about a year. And what I would do is, like when I'm sitting here talking with people like you guys, because I just think of road stories, stuff. Like I had lunch with a fan of the band that actually saw us for the first time. And she saw I was in town, and I was crossing town. I was going to cross her path. She goes, "Hey, can you stop and let's have a drink and shoot shit for a while?"
Yeah.
Had never met her. She was at Rocklahoma and seen the show. And I said, "Well, I haven't had time to eat yet. So if you can find some place that, I can sit down and eat. I'd love to say I got to stop and eat anyway." So there's this little Mexican place over off of 11th and Garnett that by Mazzio's.
If I came open, he bleeds hot sauce.
So, yeah.
Salsa. I swear to God.
Do what?
I was cut you open, you bleed salsa.
Oh yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Because she's like, "Well, I know you really like Mexican food," and so we sat there and talked. I just think of road stories, because like I said, I've been doing this since I was fucking 14, so I got lots of stories.
Oh yeah, but
and my singer that's with me again now, is a singer for Deathgrip. We both lived in Tulsa. He was from Hollywood and I was from Owasso, but we met here in Tulsa, and we toured from like 82, 83 to 86 together. And so he used to call me the Elephant Man because I'd go, "Remember back when?" He'd go, "Dude, you lost me at remember." Because I've never done any drugs. I'm as close to Ted Nugent as you can get without being that ugly. And most of my friends a lot of guys, you know, they always did stuff on the road. But I always remembered shit because I was always pretty much sober. I wouldn't say always sober, but I was at least not stoned. So I'm sure Mike remembers some of the non-sober times, but which those are all pretty much gone. So
Silence has a price.
How
Do
far?
Silence has a price.
huh?
Silence has a price.
No.
How far into this are you? Like, is it just something you just started, or is it?
I had the book about 3/4 of the way finished, and my hard drive crashed about 3 years ago. I mean, I lost the entire book.
Wow.
Oh
I
yeah,
didn't know that.
yeah, you knew that.
I didn't know it was all.
Yeah,
thought
I
was
lost
half.
it all because all of my pictures and stuff from on the road and overseas and all this, they're all, none of it's digital. So I've scanned in all of these pictures, and I've got a book program that actually formats the book as I write it and puts the pictures in and everything.
Okay.
And that whole hard drive crashed. So all the pictures, all the stories, because it's a book of memoirs is what it is. It's not like I was born here, I discovered music here, I discovered pussy here. You know, it's not that. It's not in chronological order. It's just random road stories. You know, the names have been changed or omitted to, you know, protect the guilty. And in my marriage, of course, first thing we did when me and my wife got married is I sat her down, probably the first 3 months we were together, and I told her every nasty, everything that I'd ever been through in my life.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to hear it from somebody else.
That's right.
You know, so for 3 months at least, I sat her down and I told her everything.
Wow.
So
Her face was this.
she wasn't surprised. Still isn't, I don't think. But that was 26 years ago.
Yeah.
So, but it was quite the. I didn't expect her to make it through the first couple of stories, but she did. So, and we're good.
Well, that's saying something.
So, yeah, it's been interesting.
So from an outsider's perspective, this is a book people will want to read, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because the fact that he's a colorful character alone, and he's a great storyteller, and he's been on some really cool adventures, and like you said, he's been doing it since we were kids. So it's a lot of fun. You go on the journey with him. He's very visual. He's a good storyteller, so he paints a really good picture. You know, and I've known the cat for 1,700 years. And we've lived vicariously through each other, and probably times me more through him. But I have souvenirs and pieces of shit from around the world from this cat, and he'll call me. My phone rings 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Dude, check this out!" And it's like, shows me something from like the other side of the world. I like the video from wherever you were in, Uzbekistan or something. But he's like, goes into the club because the sun never goes past the horizon. Shows me his watch. It's like, okay, it's 10 o'clock at night. Looks like it's noon. Plays. 5 o'clock in the morning. Goes back outside. Shows me his watch. He's videotaping this. Sends me. Looks like it's noon. It's like not touched. And what's his face also sent me the pictures where the sun never goes below the horizon and stuff.
Yeah, that was
so
a great one.
some of the pictures and some of the cool shit that I've got to experience because of Scott calling me, and some of the souvenirs. I have chunks of the world and things that very few will ever be able to have, be able to possess, be able to see.
Yeah, and I always would forget, because I had a dual time zone watch, but I'd always forget about looking at it. It's 10 o'clock at night where I'm at, and I'm 13 time zones away. Sorry, I didn't realize it was 3 o'clock in the fucking morning where you're at.
Yep.
We're getting ready to go on, but it was...
like, good morning, asshole, but it's him, so I didn't care, and the stories were great.
After that point. And of course, I'm sure you guys, since you're internet podcast, you don't have to edit anything. I'll give you one story from Korea that he's probably heard 1,000 times. We got into Seoul and checked into the hotel, and we went up to Itaewon, which is basically Hooker Hill in Seoul. And me and my guitar player, Sean, were running around. Well, we got separated from our singer, rhythm guitar player, and our bass player, Mike and Skippy. Skippy's name was Scott, but I wasn't going to have a nickname, so we had to give him something. So, anyway, I don't know what time of the morning it was. I have a clue. But we're sitting in this strip club that's in the basement of this building. And to get into the strip club, me and Sean were sitting there. You have to go down these steps and into the club. Well, when you look back at the door, it's a gigantic vagina. You know, I mean, it's perfect. And we're sitting there, and me and Sean's having a couple of beers. We hear this thud, 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 thud. And it's our bass player had fallen down the steps coming into this same club, and he rolls out of this giant vagina into the floor while we're sitting there holding beers. And me and Sean looked at each other and went, did that really just fucking happen? So that's the kind of shit that I was talking about. You know, and there's 900 more of those at least.
Yeah.
But
Yes, there are.
the thing about having MS is it will affect your memory. And one of the largest lesions in my brain is in my memory area. So that's one of the reasons it's so important for me to try to finish this book so that if it ever gets to the point I start not remembering the stuff, somebody can go, hey, that was you, fucker. Oh, really? I don't remember that. Yeah. Oh, there's a picture of it right there. So that's kind of why I'm writing it.
Yeah.
It's kind of twofold to tell a story to everybody else, but to make sure I remember it too.
We'll be there to turn the page and go, oh yeah, put your pants on too.
Oh. Yeah, and one of the things, when my mother was still alive, she passed away last October. I didn't know if she was still going to be alive by the time I got the book finished or not. So what I decided to do to keep her from reading any of those stories is in the table of contents, I'm a Mexican food fanatic. So in the table of contents, next to the stories that are a little spicy, just like with a Mexican dish that has a little spice on it, there's a little red pepper next to the story. If you don't want to read a rated R or rated X story, don't read the one with the pepper next to it. Just go on past it.
That's great.
So that would eliminate her from reading the stories that, you know, maybe she might not want to read. So, but I don't have that problem anymore, bless her heart. I wish she'd have made it until I could have finished the book, but, you know, she was just almost 90 when she passed away. So
Very cool.
and I had a pretty amazing set of parents, actually. I was the youngest of 4 boys, and the only musician in the family, any direction that we could look, professional musician. I mean, everybody, you know, played something or did this or did something in school, but, you know, somebody that actually pursued it as a career. I'm the only one on both sides of my family as far as we can look.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what the fuck happened to me.
Well, you mentioned before we started recording that you started getting paid at 14.
Mhm.
Like, what were you doing?
I played drums.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
Yeah, it was, we were, the first band that I was touring in, we were out of Tulsa. It was a 3-piece band. The singer, guitar player, passed away a year or so ago. But the first legitimate tour I went on was playing a circuit of strip bars, actually. You know, back when it was still legal to have live music and strippers in the same club. And I was 14 years old. I saw more naked women by the time I was 21 than most guys see in their entire life.
It's not a bad thing.
It wasn't a bad thing, and most of the time we used the same dressing room that they used. So I would be changing clothes or whatever. These girls would come in and do this, and Bobby, who was the guitar player, lead singer, he was quite a bit older than me. My mom and dad would have to sign like guardianship over to him for me to get in the club and stuff while we were gone. And he would come in and grab me. Get your ass out here, you know. And I also credit him for he was very, because he was from Detroit originally, and he really steered me away from eating produce heavily. So I credit him that. My dad, he killed him, but Bobby steered me in the right directions at an early age to look at this more as a career and not as a party. And especially at that age, if you plan on making a living at it, you've got to understand the time of party. It's not one continuous, and people don't realize that even now. They think their life's all, naked women in hotel rooms. It's not. Yeah, you can't survive. Right, but it's there's a whole lot more work and thought and stuff that goes into it. Than people that are not in the music business, they don't really think about it. One of the things I saw the other day is, as a musician, once you become a musician, you can't listen to music the same way anymore. And I've always said that to people. I don't hear music the way other people do, because I pick it apart in my head. I can't go to sleep listening to music because I'm listening to this and trying to learn this. And what do you do there? I can't do it. So I can't just sit and enjoy listening to music like most people do. I don't mind, obviously, but nobody ever really understood. And then I saw this thing on Facebook the other day that said that. I'm like, that's exactly what I've been saying for 30 years.
That was one thing we were going to bring up, actually.
I wrote that down in my notes when I saw you post that.
Okay, so you did see that. Okay. So I was like, that's what I'm trying to say.
You instantly hear it differently.
Yeah.
The moment it starts playing, it's real time from your perspective, and it's four pieces that make the whole, or five pieces, or however many that
But do
you're
you
with.
pick out the drums first when you hear a song?
I don't really know, to be honest with you. It's a process that just happens automatically. I don't really give it any thought, and I don't know any better. If I'm trying to learn someone else's material, yes, that's the first thing I go to, and then of course the bass lines. I'm a very vocal cue oriented player as well, so I go into the from drums to bass to vocals, then into the guitars as far as what I'm listening to learn the material and then playing it later.
Pretty close.
Like if you hear,
I hear the patterns. I hear the feet. I hear the drums probably about the same amount of first as I hear the vocals. That'll show up because I'm a vocal cue guy. Then it's going to be guitar. Bass has always been last. My early playing was always me and the guitar player, and then the bass player would be the next element. A lot of the cats I know have played drums and bass first, and I've just been one of the weirdos I've played from the top end first. So I'm thinking, song comes on, I'm going to hear the drums, what's vocals doing, and then the brain will probably go to guitar, and then bass shows up. But it's just automatic.
Well, and
don't think about it.
The first band that I did most of my shows with didn't have a bass player. We were a three-piece act and had a keyboard player that played keyboard, bass, and then keyboards at the same time. In fact, he still lives here in town. But so I didn't really concentrate on bass guitar then. But as I changed different bands and different genres and different things, because I was always, whoever writes me a paycheck, that's who I'm going on the road with. It doesn't have to be metal. It doesn't have to be anything. It has to have a paycheck involved. And I've toured big country tours and done some good stuff with them, and spent months on tour buses, and it's been great, but it didn't always have to be metal.
Yeah.
So in fact, I gained more weight on the country tours than I did on the rock tours. because it paid better most of the time.
There you go.
So,
Well, you know, kind of going back to like picking apart when you hear it, and just again, this could be either of you guys. When you're playing live, well, what do you want in your monitor first, or loudest, or something?
my kick drum.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Because if I don't have my kick drum at a loud enough volume, I will try to overcompensate for it in my playing, and it'll cause me to expel more energy doing that than I need to do. So I run my kick drum and my snare really loud in my monitor. That way I'm like,
no snare.
I'm just thrashing shit and I'm just barely hitting stuff. So, okay, I'm good. And it helps me, especially with the nerve damage in my legs and stuff now, because I've always been a really, really hard player. Kind of overly hard, I think, most of the time. Because the first shows that I did for years and years and years and years, we didn't mic the drums. So I had to hit shit hard. And that's just kind of the way I learned to play. And now I don't know any better.
You end up pushing.
Yeah.
So and you just shit out of it. You end up being 5 BPM faster than you want to go. It's like
right.
You're going to a freaking fire because you can't hear it. So it's the feel thing, but the feel is not the same.
So but yeah, as far as my monitor goes, I like to have, except for my kick drum and my snare, which I don't run anything else in my monitor drum-wise. I don't have to put any toms in my monitors or nothing. I just want kick and snare is all I want myself. Because if I can't figure out what I'm hitting when I'm hitting it, then I need to stop playing anyway. But I have to have pretty much everything equal, like I'm listening to everything. That way, I can pick out what I want to listen to at the time, instead of the monitor guy picking out what I want to listen to at the time. If I have a good mix of everybody, I'm good. Obviously, I got to have vocals, because I don't think I could. It's one thing I haven't done is a lot of instrumental stuff, because I have a lot of respect for musicians that can do just instrumental stuff. I can follow it. I get lost. Where the hell are we? You know, there's no lyrics here. Where are we at? You know. So, but yeah, I haven't done any of that, and probably won't actually, because that's just I don't think my brain will go there.
Was the country tour the stuff that took you overseas, or?
No, it was rock that I went overseas with. I did a lot of USO tours, so I've been a lot of places that most people don't get to go. A lot of places people don't want to go, and a lot of places that you can't go now. Just to give you a quick synopsis, I've followed the footsteps of Christ through Jerusalem.
Wow.
Because of a pair of drumsticks. I've rode a camel through the city of Petra in Jordan because of being a musician. I've got shot at in Chinook helicopters in Kosovo for being a musician.
I have the pictures of all of this.
Yeah. And, I've been through Tokyo and, all up and down Japan and Germany and Bosnia and Greenland and Hungary, and it's just a big list of places.
I think both the destroyed buildings, I think one was Bosnia and one the other one Iraq.
No, both of those were Bosnia. It was all in Sarajevo, because we were in Sarajevo not long after the war there in Sarajevo had ended, and we weren't supposed to actually go down into an area they call Sniper Alley. And our bus driver was a German guy, and we were, because when we bussed from Hungary through the shows in Croatia and into Bosnia and all the way through, we had 2 armed Humvees behind us and 1 armed Humvee in front of us with 50 cals on the roof. We had 12 people with us in, the 3 Humvees. So when we got into Sarajevo, they were supposed to escort us down into town. Well, they all went out the night before and got hammered and didn't get up. So our bus driver's like, I've been there a million times, let's go. So he piles us in the bus, and down into Sniper Alley we go. And we're walking around through bombed out buildings, and I've got pictures of me standing next to staircases that just full of mortar holes and just crazy stuff. So, but yeah, we wasn't supposed to be there. We got our butts chewed out when we got back, but it was all worth it.
Yeah.
So, because it's stuff that people don't get to see. I mean, there wasn't any particular war going on at the time, but we still weren't supposed to be in the area. In Kosovo, we were in Pristina, Kosovo, and we were doing a big base there called Camp Bondsteel, and we always stayed in officers' quarters anyway. But in that area, officers' quarters was a tent with a wood floor and air conditioning, which was great because it was about 120 degrees outside. But they told us when the van would come to pick us up and take us to eat or take us to sound check or whatever we were doing, put our hair up on our helmets, make sure we had our helmets on and our flak jackets and everything when you come out of the tent to get in the van. Because the snipers in the hill, if they see a civilian walking with military personnel, they're going to think you're a dignitary and you're the one they're going to shoot. So, they'd come to pick us up and we're cramming all our hair under our helmets and stuff. So, it was great. I wouldn't trade any of it, actually.
Yeah. Well, you remember from playing those shows, like response you got from troops?
We always got really good responses. Playing for the troops overseas is probably one of the biggest highlights of my entire career. I've played good-sized arenas, and it's still not the same feeling as playing overseas for the troops. It's just they're very appreciative of you being there, and they really let you know it. So it's quite a rewarding thing to get to do that and get paid for it. So
it's got to be hugely emotional,
and it is. It's emotional for them because you're taking your time to come over there and acknowledge their existence and what they're doing. And I come from a military family anyway. I've never been in the military, but everybody in my family has been in the military but me. So I was raised around military, so it meant a lot to me to go do that.
It's always cool to get a chance to give back. I've always said, the reason that I get to have, my dumb ass gets to have, cheese on my burger is because of what they do. So I've known that since I was a kid.
Yeah. Well, I know the reason you're here right now is because you guys are heading to Summer NAMM here in
Yes, sir. We're off to Tennessee tomorrow night.
Yeah.
So, I know you've done it, because I know you just did it earlier this year in LA.
Yeah, I didn't get to go to LA because I had knee surgery in December. I was scheduled to go to NAMM in LA this year.
And there's no way in hell I'm carrying him through that arena. Love you. Not going to happen.
Yeah, not going to happen.
Not gonna
Well,
happen.
the surgeon told me I tore some stuff in my knee pretty bad, and
Quit fucking hanging upside down on stage, but whatever.
That was a ceiling fan. Thank you. Anyway, but he told me, he said, if we do the surgery, you can't fly. So I knew NAMM was coming up, but I also knew the summer concert season was coming up. So did I want to wait until after NAMM, which right after NAMM, we had my band Rough Justice that I'm in, the other band. We had what we call 110,000 tons of metal cruise, and we had a bunch of fans, friends, all of the above. If they weren't friends when we started on the cruise, they ended up being that by the end of the cruise. We went to Belize and Honduras and through Cozumel and just had a great time. We didn't play on the cruise or anything. It was just a let's get a bunch of friends and people that like the band and let's just go do something together. And that was in February. So I couldn't have surgery right after NAMM because of the cruise. Well, by February, if I get back in March and I have knee surgery, Rocklahoma is in May, which is the start of the summer season really for us. So I'm like, okay, I guess I lose NAMM this year because I can't wait. I can't take a chance of not being able to play the shows. So let's go get it done.
So you haven't done it in the past. This will be your first one.
This will be my first NAMM.
Okay.
Been in this business 1,000,000 years, and finally going to get to slow down long enough to go to NAMM. And we're also scheduled to go to California again the beginning of next year. So that'll be good, and that'll be my first California NAMM. So
It'll be surreal. You'll freak out.
yeah.
We were talking
I promise.
on the way over is how long have they done NAMM in Nashville? Is it fairly new?
I think it's been around for a while. I don't know how many years. I don't think it's as old as the main one in California, but it's got some legs. I would think 10. I don't know. Actually, that one I don't. And this is my first summer NAMM.
Okay.
Actually, so this is my.
So we're going to go destroy shit for the first time together.
Yeah.
And I've been asleep in the van and in the bus going through Nashville. Never played. I played right on the outskirts, but I don't ever remember actually ever being in Nashville. Played in Memphis a bunch. So this will be my first time in. So
We played there a bunch. We rehearsed there a bunch.
One of the companies we're working with has a big staging and rehearsal facility with a lot of half of everybody that we know, country, metal, hardcore, when you're in that area, use that's like a cartridge in production, and I forgot the name of it. The drums are Schlesman or Mothertone, and they do a lot of the studio stuff and rehearsal stuff down there, and so we're working with them. We've got some of their product in our booth. I'm a part of the Silverfox team. I've been with Silverfox Sticks for about 11 years now. And so
I've been with them about 11 weeks.
I know. So 11's a
So
good
there
number.
we go.
Well,
Good numbers. And so they're bringing me down to be part of the team and be in the booth. And Scott's going to be one of the family, and he's going to come down, hang out, be in the booth with us, and walk around, and we get to be a part of this, which is just freaking huge. And like I said, this is our first time going to Nashville NAMM, period. So it's a brand new experience.
And they're actually debuting my new stick,
Okay.
my signature.
And we'll be flying his new stick in the booth. We'll be
That'll be
flying
the first time
my new
I've
stick
even
in the
seen
booth, as a matter of fact. The
will
new
be
ones that
in,
have the
will be in NAMM.
Oh.
have the new ones that have the fat logo on them. And we're just debuting those for the first time. Those will be in the booth with and without dip, so that's kind of cool. And if it works out, Dryvr is going to play in Anaheim in January at the main NAMM show. We put in for that last year, and we've been working with them. So, and now that everything that I play is connected to all these companies, and I'm endorsed by everything I run, mostly he is too. This is going to definitely open some cool doors and just some connections, and give us some opportunities that are going to just be huge. And just being able to connect with that side of the industry. If you think about it, the players are at the end of the line. They're the ones that you and I know first. They're the face, but it's the cat that makes the instrument. It's the guy that makes the string. It's the guy that makes the chord. It's the guys that own and build and produce the records. It's the guys that own the equipment that you record into. They're the ones that make what we do possible, and we're at the end of the line. We're basically an end user. So getting to connect with the manufacturers and the people that make this industry, and it's the entire entertainment industry. Oh, dude, just being a fly on the wall and listening to these guys talk, the stories, I'm just drooling. Just back there, like, excuse me, I'll just sit back here and cry.
Yeah, give me a tissue and keep talking.
And just man, so and then you get to meet these cats, and it's a privilege. The companies that I represent and the ones that Scott's been a part of forever. Most of those people are at these events, so you finally get to meet your rep face to face, as opposed to a phone call or a picture on the internet. And connecting with these people is just a lot of fun. These people are just like you and I, except that's what they do for a living. Yeah. And it's just very cool. Yeah, this is going to be a fun new experience too. Yeah. And I'm glad we finally got Scott. as a part of the Silverfox team. That's going to be a beautiful relationship.
Hey, this is Trent checking in real quick to let you know that batteries had to be replaced in the recorders, so that's why the audio is going from Mike talking to where Scott is talking about something different. So just wanted to cut in and let you know that. And also, sorry again about the interference with the buzzing sound. I tried to get rid of it a little, but it was hard to get rid of some of those spots because it was so heavy. But anyway, hope you're bearing with us and keep listening. Thanks.
And all the logos on all my stenciling on my new cases is all done in glow in the dark.
Yes. Yeah.
So when they're rolling my stuff in and out of the venue,
Yeah.
you can see my name in the dark.
Yeah.
I'm just
That's the new color he invented, as a matter of fact. He said, I'm going to try to get it closer to match your new kit, but it's got a glow chemical in it. So if we get hit by black light or blue light, my blue glows now. I'm like, dude, that's really
if it glows too hard, you need to get that checked, bro.
Well, that's what they tell me.
But yeah, of course, this is my first year with Silverfox. I'm going into the end of my second year with Soultone, the cymbal company that we're both endorsed with. That Mike turned me on to. He's like, dude, you got to check these out. And I was really skeptical because I've been a Z guy my entire life, the Z word. But I actually came to one of their rehearsals and checked out the cymbals. I actually drove from Dallas up here to check out the cymbals before I went ahead and signed my endorsement contract with them, because you can listen to the samples online, but it's just not like being in the same room with them and actually hitting them. And the Extreme series that I use most of, it's a lot darker than what I'm used to using, and it fits the material that Deathgrip plays really well. Because Deathgrip's a little heavier than Rough Justice. Deathgrip's more of a Judas Priest meets Iron Maiden with some Primal Fear thrown in the mix somewhere. I don't know if you guys got to see the show at Rocklahoma or not, but because we played on Friday. But it's
and there's still a little bit of that Omen-esque flavor.
There's a little
on
bit of
there.
that, because my singer was with Omen for about 4 years, and so, but
I'm a fucking huge fan of these guys.
yeah, it's Mike was right down front. I could hit him with stuff. In fact, I probably tried actually, but
I mean, it's tough.
but yeah, it's a real heavy melodic metal. So it's a departure, so to speak, from what I've been doing the last few years. But I love the hell out of it. I cut my teeth on 80s hair metal, like most guys my age. They're into metal, but there's just nothing like the hard driving stuff that Deathgrip's doing, and I'm really happy to be back doing that kind of stuff, because singer Matt had called me and he goes, I need a drummer, and I know you're busy with your other band and this and that, but I really want you to come work in this project with me. And well, you realize I got MS, right? Dude, don't worry about it. I'll deal with it. So I'm like, okay. And I kind of basically just went in as an interim situation. And me and Matt have known each other, since '82, I guess. And I just stayed, more than anything. I liked it, and the guys in the band liked me, and it worked, and it fit, and and here we go. So it's one of those hang on tight, because we don't know quite where this is going to go yet, but we're definitely pushing it. So.
Well, that song Deathhammer was badass.
Yeah,
You like Deathhammer?
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear the whole thing. I mean, what's the status on?
We're still writing some of the material. We're in the middle of recording right now. I finished up the drum tracks on 2 more tracks just a week or so ago, and so the guys are back home now while I'm out, playing in Tennessee. They're doing bass tracks, guitar tracks and stuff while I'm gone.
Put him to work.
The next single that we're going to release, I believe it's going to be the title track of the album, Demonizer, which is the same song we opened the shows with. And we're finishing that up right now, and as soon as that gets finished, we go straight to filming the new video for it. We've changed the mascot of the band, as you guys saw before, was kind of a rabid wolf.
Yeah.
And we've now changed that to a new character that is the Demonizer. If you've seen it online yet, it's a pretty interesting character. The new video that we're working on, I can't give any specifics on it right now, but the Demonizer will be very predominant in this new video and where it's coming from. And it as the band evolved from even before I got in the band to now, this character just makes way more sense. The record label likes it. We like it. So we're just going to run with it, and the idea for the video was already there before this character came in, but this new character is going to be really part of the new video. So I'm really stoked to get started on it. We've been out, I know Matt was out heavy a few weeks ago scouting filming sites, and I was scouting some a week or so myself, because it'll take us a while to get all the filming done and then get it all edited, because we do most of this stuff ourselves. So Matt is the singer, is a graphic artist. He's the one that designs all of our artwork and does it all. So we try to keep as much stuff in-house as we can. And fortunately, our record label lets us, so as long as we're good at it, they don't mind not paying for it.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way. So if we sucked at it and they didn't like it, then they'd probably go, well, let's cut a check and go have somebody else do it. But they like what's coming out of the band musically, and the artwork and the direction we're going. So as long as they're happy, we're happy.
Yeah.
So you're thinking 2016 for...
We should have the album out this year. That's the plan. Things kind of kicked in high gear once it solidified that I was going to be an actual member of the band, because before it was kind of in limbo until the drum spot got officially filled. And once that got done, everybody's like, okay, it's time to get this all done. Of course, I'm the one that has to do all the tracks first. So we're, just getting it all done, and what's coming out so far, I'm really happy with. We've got another single. The next one that'll come out after Demonizer is a song called Ride. And when we were at Rocklahoma this year, it's the first time we played that song live, and the crowd was actually singing the chorus back to us, and they'd never heard it. And I could hear it on the drum ride. So that was pretty spectacular right there, just to be honest with you. And it's an old school, think point of entry Priest.
Yeah.
That's what that particular song kind of sounds like. This the groove and the power on that song is kind of a point of entry era Priest stuff. So I think it's going to do really well. So, and that's the next video, but let's get Demonizer done first, and then we'll get to working on that one.
Well, Rough Justice is still together, right?
Yeah,
So
are
you?
I was
both of them, or
I was balancing them back and forth for a little while, but right now Rough Justice is we're on a writing hiatus because we're in the middle of an album too. In fact, I'm in the middle of editing the next video for that band. So we're not playing as much right now because we're writing, and we've all got other projects we're working on too right now. Because we busted it pretty hard for a couple of years and changed some members around, did this, did that. So we're mixing drinks. So should be some alcohol flowing somewhere. I hear that in the background. I think there needs to be. Yeah, it needs to be. But my singer's got a side project for Rough Justice. He's got a project he's doing. Both my guitar players are in other projects. So we're just kind of just writing right now. Whereas Deathgrip is actually writing, recording, playing. So Rough Justice stuff will probably come out the beginning of next year. So just to be safe, I don't want to say anything too much, but we should have that out by the beginning of next year.
Are you pretty heavily involved with the Deathgrip writing since you came in later?
I'm as heavily involved as a drummer can be, put it that way.
Right.
I don't play a melody instrument, and Matt's a great lyricist, so I don't need to really put a lot in lyrically. But all the drum parts, Matt's like, that's what I hired you for. You do what you think the song needs. And so far, everybody's been real happy with it. So me and Quinn, the bass player, that was already there when I got there, we locked in really quick together, became really fast friends. So,
Moose?
oh, yes, I hear the blender in the background. But the thing about Deathgrip is we're a bunch of old road guys. Been in the business for a long time.
You can tell by the smell.
Yeah, you can tell by the smell. Smell that's experience. Anyway,
I'm saying.
Is that what that's called?
Okay.
Anyway, but Quinn and Jimmy, one of the guitar players, and by the way, the two guitar players in Deathgrip are brothers. Jimmy Fritz and Paul Fritz, so they play really well together. But Jimmy's a guitar instructor. Quinn is, they both have degrees in music. So there's a lot of intelligence that goes into the writing in this band, other than just throwing parts and stuff together. In fact, they'll be talking back and forth about stuff, and it just goes right over my head. You know, if I can't hit on it, I'm not going to play it. So I can keep, 4 different time signatures with 4 different appendages, but I can't finger a note. So I'm stuck playing drums. So
I don't know, I've hit a bass guitar.
I'm glad I like it because that's all I'll ever get to do. So.
Well, as far as MS, when you got diagnosed with that, or even whenever before you got diagnosed, you knew something. How did that affect the way you approach things, or?
It's greatly affected the approach to what I have to do because I have relapsing remitting MS, which is the most common type of MS. I could be in a wheelchair the next time you guys see me. I may not be. I've been very blessed and fortunate that the nerves in my legs are damaged, the nerves in my hands are damaged. But my neurologist has told me to keep playing. It's great physical therapy for you. Not only physically, but the lesions in my brain that are in the memory area, playing music helps that portion of my brain. To whereas if he's just sending me to physical therapy, I'm not really working my brain that much. So I was afraid I was going to have to quit. I was afraid that was pretty much going to be I've been through neck surgeries, back surgeries, and all these different surgeries, and it never completely shut me down musically. I was really afraid this was going to be what was going to pull the plug on it, but he told me, he said, no, you keep doing it as long as you can, but I have to really watch my energy level. There's lady that come up with a deal. They call it the spoon theory. For every activity you have to give up a spoon. You start out the day with so many spoons. When those spoons are gone, you're done. So you have to learn to, delegate throughout the day. And especially as a musician, I've got a lot of stuff I have to do during the day. I'm blessed I don't have to work another job. So especially when we're either in the studio or out doing shows, I have to make sure that I watch my energy level, which will bring me to my next subject here in a little bit. Because if I don't, I run out of energy. And the last thing I want to do, people pay to come see us. The last thing I want to do is not give 100% on stage because I can't. I want to make sure that I save that for that portion of the night, so that people don't go, oh, that was a great show, but that drummer was sure lackluster tonight. Because people don't care if you have a debilitating disease. In fact, I kept it from my record label for over a year because I didn't even want them knowing. But at some point, a lot of the MS support groups that I've been involved with basically encouraged me to go public with it because it does bring awareness to the disease and what people have to go through. And it's really difficult to get someone to understand because fatigue is not like being tired. I've been tired. I've done shows in Spain and got off stage and got in a van and flew back to the United States, got on another plane, flew across the United States and did another show. 38 hours between. That's tired. But fatigue is like nothing I've ever had to deal with. And before I was diagnosed with MS, I had no idea what MS was. I didn't know. I'd done a couple of MS benefits over the years, but I'd never really paid attention to what it was, and most people don't. Because when you tell somebody you have MS, they go, oh, that's that muscle disease. No, that's ND. So, which is debilitating enough in its own right. But, and I look fine. I mean, you can't look at me and tell there's anything wrong with me. But inside, my body's trying to kill me. So I have to fight back, every day. And I have to make sure I get rest. I have to make sure I eat, like at Rocklahoma. Heat and MS don't get along. It can really cause you to, in fact, they have cooling vests that are like, you put them in the freezer and you wear them to keep your body temperature down. But
how does that work when you're playing?
I haven't played in one, so
I mean, just as far as getting hot when you're playing.
Yeah,
you got a fan on you or something? Or?
Yeah, I always have a fan on me anyway. But one of the first things, fortunately, I have a good crew of guys that help me with my gear and help the rest of the band with the gear. So I don't have to worry a whole lot about that. They take care of that for me. And in fact, I've known most of them for several years, and they won't let me touch anything because they want to make sure that I don't go down till I'm, ready for the next show. But our equipment trailer is air conditioned, so
Bastard. I mean, awesome.
So, for instance, at the outdoor festivals, a lot of times they don't have really good facilities because we're not famous. We don't have the great facilities that a lot of other, bands have.
Yes.
So we have to provide our own. So I'll make sure and stay in the air conditioning as much as possible. And as soon as I get off the stage, the first thing I'll do is I'll either go right to the t-shirt booth or right to the trailer, wherever I need to be to start cooling down and make sure. But we only play generally our shows are only 45 minutes to an hour. It's not like it was back in the days when we were playing, 6 nights a week, 4 sets a night, stuff like that. I don't even know if I can do that anymore. But that's where all of us cut our teeth that at our age now in the business is playing the club circuit around all the United States, playing covers, playing 4 sets a night, playing Tuesday through Saturday and packing up and driving to the next city and setting up and doing it again and doing it again and doing it again. But fortunately, I don't have to worry about that anymore. So my guys take care of me. I try to stay as cool as possible. And stress can also, because heat and stress and all that can cause me to go into relapse. And if I do go into a full relapse, I pretty much can't raise my head off the pillow. I'm done. And it's not because I don't want to raise my head off the pillow. I can't physically get up. So, and that can last from 2 days to 4 months. It just depends. So I do everything I'm told to prevent that from happening. Not only for me, but for the guys in my band. When I herniated this disc a couple of months ago, I wouldn't go to the doctor. I had a feeling what it was, but I wouldn't go to the doctor and have it checked out because I didn't want him telling me I couldn't do the Rocklahoma show. We were doing Rocklahoma. We were, so I didn't go until after we got back from Rocklahoma. He sent me in for an MRI, and a couple of days ago, the phone rung, and it was my doctor's office. I said, "Oh, okay, here we go." And I answered the phone, and it not only was it my doctor's office, but it was my neurologist himself.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't, one of the girls in the front office. It was actually my doctor. And he's like, "Well, we need to get taken care of this because if left untreated, it can cause permanent nerve damage, which could screw up my career." So I started getting injections into my neck shortly after we get back from NAMM. We're going to start there and see if we can avert a third neck surgery, at least for a while. So,
well, knowing all that, you just talked about what's your live gigging schedule, how heavy are you
as heavy as we can
jump into
go.
that? Yeah.
I don't really. I do my best to try to not let it slow me down, because the guys in the bands that I'm involved with, they deserve that from me. My bass player in Deathgrip has a similar condition, similar to MS, that has almost cost him his life a couple of times. So he has to kind of watch his energy level as well. So we really take care of one another to make sure that we push each other just far enough, but we also take care of each other that we don't over push ourselves. So that's become a really good relationship between me and Quinn, which I guess he didn't have with the other drummer. So, but and Matt, the singer, he's diabetic, so he has to watch himself. They finally got his medication straight, and he's doing really good. So, but yeah, as we're looking at a couple of new management deals right now. So if some of those come through, we'll be doing a lot of stuff here pretty quick. But I really won't know until I get out and see what happens. But I'm not going to go. I don't think I can do that. I'm going to go. And I'm just bullheaded enough to keep pushing. So, but like I said, I take care of myself and do what I'm supposed to do to make sure that I can continue to do what I'm doing.
I assume once the album comes out, you guys are gonna try to get out.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll be doing a whole lot more stuff after the album comes out.
Oh,
That's typically the way that works.
Right.
As you well know, but at our age, because like I said, we're all a bunch of old road guys, we want to make sure that we get out and we take the music to the people that want to hear it, provide them not only with, physical, merchandise and CDs and everything, but, all of the digital downloads and everything else that's, available now. But, yeah, we want to get out and get in front of as many faces as we can. Because I'm a live guy anyway. The studio kind of irritates me. It's a necessary evil for what I do, but playing live is where I've always been. That's what I enjoy the most. I like being on the road. I like seeing people and meeting people, and the studio can be kind of a sterile place where I don't get to see a lot of people. I see the same people every day. It's like going to a job, which I don't like, which is why I became a musician in the first place. So, if I wanted to be a musician and see the same people every day, I would move to Nashville and I would become a studio cat. Because those guys make really good money. But I like to play live. Do what?
And they go home every day.
So we just, yes, as much fucking shows as we can do coming up. That's awesome. Next summer will be a lot more intense than this summer because I joined the band late in this season. So we're having to spend what would generally be time out on the road recording. So once we decide which of the new management companies we're going to go with, and the record label is supporting us really well with what we're doing, and they're actually looking at putting us over to a bigger label, which is associated with our label, once the album comes out. But I can't really go into much there yet until something happens. But I'm kind of excited about that because if it does happen and one of the new management agreements that we're looking at, we accept one of those, then things could get pretty busy really quick.
That's a good thing.
Oh yeah, my mortgage company wants that to happen.
Yeah, that's no shit.
So.
Well, where are you guys setting on new music?
Got to get Adam in. Vocals is the last thing to track, so we're trying to stay on track to be out by fall. Okay. And we're doing a lot of the same thing that they're doing. We're talking to a couple of labels, been working with one for about a year or so, and it's kind of, they're ready for the next new stuff. And we play with the Deathgrip guys. So once our stuff's out, I'm going to hand it to Scott and have them hand it to their guys so we can get some across the pond action, maybe work on some distribution over there. We're finding him and I have fans that are all over the world, which is really freaking cool. And so I think this round is going to be beneficial for both of us. We're both ridiculously busy. So, and I'm not... Studios, at least the one day I can hear everything, but it is irritating, so I agree with him. But it's just freaking slow because it's time and money, and there's never enough of either one.
Yeah.
And if we put 26 hours in the day, we'd probably, him and I especially, probably both bitch that there's still not enough hours. But it's just doesn't ever happen fast enough. And then we've gone through a couple of different studios, so has he, and we've gone. I've gone through band changing, and so has he. And just people, and just it's never fast enough. But we're down to get vocals tracked next, and what is this, June? So I could see fall. I'd love to get it out in time for like the holiday buying season. Yeah. But I just wanted to turn out how it's supposed to. So I think we're shooting for fall. Cool. And then our schedule is ridiculously busy like theirs is. So we're all pretty excited. I know once our sophomore effort gets out, I think things will be a little smoother in the future. Might not take as long. We're working on new material. We've presented a couple of new songs in public. We've got a bunch we're working on. So I think once you kind of, the crack in the dam first starts to happen, I think things will be a little smoother. We've learned an ass load in the last 3 years, so that helps. So I think the future will go a little bit quicker.
Yeah, if I can get that little wouldn't shoot Dutch boy guy to get his finger out of that damn where
I know.
cut loose.
I know,
You know,
right?
that's
Just never
keep
happens.
shooting at him, but
Never happens fast enough. But
Yeah, it's just-
that's our basic goal. We just got back from out of town. Him and I are going to be gone for a while, and as soon as I get back, he's got stuff to do. We've got shows coming up. We'll be back out of town. We won't be back here in Tulsa till the 27th for the Mushroom Head show.
Mushroom Head.
And then he's got some Dallas stuff, and we're trying to work to play with them at the Rail in Dallas.
Okay.
So it's there. He's definitely family. You know, we've known each other way too long to admit, but definitely a
God,
brother
yeah.
from. We've bitched plenty of times. It's like, you know, why do we play the same fucking instrument? You know, we should play something different. We'd already be in the band. We have a clue. So having to deal with band members is always tough. But we're very excited. We're real happy with what's going on camp. And, like him, just shows every day. Fun talking to people. Just the more shows, the better. The busier that I am, the happier I am, for sure.
Yeah, because I spend most of my days, if I'm not actually in the studio, I'm in front of my laptop.
Yeah.
I'm making contacts and I'm passing off contacts. Sending stuff to Matt, or Matt sending stuff to Glenn at the record label, or trying to get something approved, or this or that, or 9 other things. And there's several festivals overseas that we're working to try to get on next year. There's a couple of festivals stateside still, one in Houston that we're working to try to get into, but it's so late in that season. You know, getting on the festivals right now is kind of it's a crapshoot because you know they're already booked. You know, there's always people that drop off, so there's always spots that pop open.
Right.
But we're focusing most of our festival booking into next year and looking more at Europe. And I've got some stuff that I'm working on in Japan right now from being over in Japan before.
Pretty much starts in September
So
for the next year.
right. So that's kind of where we are now, is trying to to make sure we have our product ready come September, October, to where whatever management company we do end up signing with. Your rice-a-roni's done, by the way. That we're ready for it when it comes around. You know, if we're going to have to spend a summer in the studio instead of on the road, then we want to try to make it count.
Well, you mentioned Primal Fear earlier.
Yep.
Have you heard that new album?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we love that band.
Yeah, me and my singer Matt with Deathgrip, we're both big Primal Fear fans. They were just through Dallas, but we were busy. We didn't get to go.
I think it was a weekday. That's why I was kind of
Yeah, which kind of pops in,
for here.
which makes because we don't hardly get to see anybody unless we're on a bill well, which makes the festival stuff really good for us.
Yeah, you get a lot
Because
of
we always try to hang a couple of days, if possible, if the schedule will allow, which next year may not be quite so easy to do. We may have to play and leave, which I always hate to do,
Yeah.
but like to try to catch as many other bands as I can. And that's where I see a lot of bands that, like us, that, a lot of people don't know of. I get to see people and go, oh shit, man, where these guys been?
Yeah.
I really like these guys. There's some friends of mine from Australia, a band called Ragdoll. That's what happened the first time I saw them 4 years ago. I caught their show, never heard of them, and we become great friends. So I get to build some relationships with some people and get to hear some new music, and hopefully they get to hear mine, and everybody comes out ahead. So as well as getting to see the bigger artists, and have your band name on the back of a T-shirt with the likes of Megadeth and Queensryche, and have 100,000 of those go out the door. That's got your name on it. So it's really a positive thing to do the festival.
Yeah, for sure. Anything else? I think that about wraps it up. I went through my list. I think we covered it all.
And I'll tell you things that's on your list without you even asking.
Yeah, that's always the best part too.
Because I talk too much.
No, that's what we want.
Not at all. Not at all. Well, we appreciate you doing it, man.
I appreciate you guys taking the time to come out. You know, as I passed through town, and since we kept crossing paths in Rocklahoma, we never could end up in the same spot at the same time. It just worked out great that, you know, me and Mike headed to NAMM. I was able to come up and sit down with you and, you know, actually get to meet you guys. And, you know, I've listened to a bunch of your stuff, but had never got to sit down and talk to you yet. So
Thanks for listening.
But yeah, we're
These two cats are badass for what they're doing and what they're helping us do and spreading the word. Not to mention the fact that there's a little bit of jealousy for the cats you guys are getting to talk to and meet.
no shit.
But that's also awesome at the same time. And the bigger people that are picking up your bits and pieces, man, that's very cool.
Yeah.
So I think you guys are gonna probably catch on and blow up. I'll be like, I know those guys. Be like, no, you don't. No, I swear to God. I do.
It's like when I was on the road in the late 70s and early 80s, I used to have to keep showing people my driver's license to prove that my name was really what my name was. Because my name's Scott Baughn. And they're like, oh, you just took Bon Scott and turned it around. How lame is that? No, dude, I was born that way.
I was born that way. That's really my fucking
name.
name.
About it.
Hey, we got a buddy named Mike Thrasher.
Nice.
Had to do that too.
Nice.
He's had to show his ID, yeah.
I'm not kidding. I'm not lying. And I'm not even quite that cool, but mine was just a name tag. And it was way before I knew who the hell Mike D was, but in the Drum Central days,
Yep.
it's Mike D, and people would like come in and give me shit about yo, I'm like, go fucking and I'm like a year behind. I'm like, oh, hey, I get it now.
What the hell was that all about? Yeah, okay.
Oh, I'm caught up. I'm a year slow, but that's all right.
There you go, Scott Baughn of Deathgrip, Mike DePetrillo of Dryvr. Thanks again to Scott for being willing to take the time to do that, and of course Mike as well for inviting us into his home again.
Always.
Great time sitting there talking to those guys. You know, we talked to them for quite a bit before we hit record and quite a bit after we stopped recording, you know, and they're both, anybody that's listened to this that knows them knows that both of them are great dudes and easy to talk to and have tons of stories. And
oh yeah, quality humans. It was a good evening all the way around. We had a lot of laughs.
Definitely. Look up Deathgrip on Facebook. That's all one word. And look up Dryvr, of course, on Facebook. That's Dryvr. And Dryvr's actually opening for Mushroom Head here in Tulsa on July 27th at the Ideal Ballroom.
Yeah.
That'll be a good one. So if you're in the area, be sure and check that out. And be sure and check us out at thethunderunderground.com. Hit us up on Facebook as well. We're also on YouTube and Twitter, Instagram, Periscope, and soundcloud.com/thunder-underground. We've got 72 other episodes for you to go check out. We recently did one with Chris Broderick, who used to be in Megadeth. We did one with, let's throw in the fact that we did one with Tim and Ryan from Soil, because I know Mike's a huge Soil fan.
Yeah.
And we actually ran into him when we were there.
That's right.
And speaking of Mike, we had a full episode with just Mike way back in our early days, about a year ago.
Yeah.
So dig back in there into the teens somewhere.
That was a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one. Straight 45 minutes with Mike, and that's a great one.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going to say all kinds of stuff. Sid Falk from formerly of Overkill, Reed Mullen, Sons of Texas, Battlecross.
Drowning Pool.
There you go.
Warrant, Crowbar.
Yeah.
Just check them all out. It's all good stuff.
Definitely. And we've got tons of stuff lined up here that we're supposed to be recording in the next 2 or 3 weeks, so keep tuning back in. Like I said, thethunderunderground.com's got everything on there. Probably our Facebook is the best place to see where we're most active, that kind of thing. So follow us on there, like us, all that stuff.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. And we've got t-shirts and koozies.
Yes, we do. And we will give them to you for a fair, reasonable price.
Yes, it'll be lower than retail.
That's right.
If you went in a store to buy a t-shirt, this is cheaper.
Exactly. So what are you waiting for?
Yep. hit us up at thethroneunderground@gmail.com if you've got a band that you would like us to check out, to think about playing or doing a review of your album, or even having you on a podcast or something. So that's the email. You can also email us there if you're interested in t-shirts, koozies, like we said.
Exactly.
All right. Until next time.
Thunder Underground, y'all.